right, this is probably going to be one of the shorter videos that I make in this class. This is oversimplifying fractional expressions. And 20 and 21, those orange ones right there, should look very familiar to you. Those are proportions. But I'm going to show you a little bit different way of solving these this time because you'll need it. All right, so a lot of times you cross multiply, and that work would look something like this. So let's say you had, just an example on the side here, 2/3 equals 12 and n up here. Last time, definitely last class, I showed you to cross multiply here. So to cross multiply like this and make this 24 and this 3n, and you divide by 3 rather. So yeah, let me back up. We divide by 3 here. I'm just showing you, cross multiplying, and that would be 8. And that's certainly one way to do the orange problems. But think about it this way, if you will. What number times 11 is 44? So that would be 4. So you're going to multiply the top and bottom of this by 4. I'll just put that right like that. And so 8 times 4 is 32. All right. Now this is certainly a way to do it. Notice you're multiplying by 4/4, which is 1. So we're just taking 8 over 11 times the fraction 4/4. That's okay to do. I mean, that makes it equal to 32 over 44. But it's an interesting concept that you're multiplying there by 1. Now let's do it here. So what times 40 is 80? Well, that's times 2. So I'm going to multiply this times 2 and this times 2 to give me 70 right there. All right. Now, the reason I'm doing it this way is because if we start sticking letters on the bottom, we're going to have issues cross-multiplying this. So I ask you, 12 times what is 60y? Well, that, in this case, would be 5y. Because 12, think about it, 12 times 5y would be 60y. So you have to follow suit on this concept right here of multiplying this by 1. So this has to be 5y on the top, too. What you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So this answer here will be 3 times 5y. And 3 times 5y would be 15y. I'm going to be circling my answers there. So next one, and if you think you got it, pause it. All right, so 11 times what is 22x? Well, that would be 2x and 2x, top and bottom. We are not unbalancing this. So this would be 12x on the top, 12x. Let's go to a more exciting page of problems. Yeah, just double checking that. All right. I don't know if this is more exciting, but here it is. We're going to simplify some fractions again. And this is what it is. We're just reducing fractions here. So now we're going to divide the top and bottom by a certain number. So the common factor that goes into 42 and 48 would be 6. So now I'm going to divide by 6. Divide by 6 and divide by 6. Look at it again. Same thing. Both 1. 6/6 is 1. So this would be -7 over 8. -7/8. Here, I would divide the top and bottom by 2. Okay, and this fraction starts off negative, so my answer is going to be negative. I'll just go ahead and put an answer blank there and put a negative sign there so I don't forget. So 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 18 divided by 2 is 9, -7/9. All right, now check this out. We have y's on the tops and bottoms. Now, anytime you have anything over itself, even letters, those will cancel, giving you 1s. So that's going to equal 1 there. So these, I hate to do this, but that's just going to cancel. Those y's are going to cancel out like that. Okay, so this y on top cancels that y on the bottom, and then I just reduce 20 and 35. I'm going to divide each one by the number 5. So I'm going to divide by 5 and divide by 5. Make that a little bit neater. Divide by 5. Same thing. Again, this concept of 1, very powerful. 4 over 7. Next one, anything on top letter-wise and anything on bottom that matches gets canceled. Boom, boom, just like that. The 12 and the 36 have a common factor. See, the greatest common factor would be 12. 12 goes into both of them. So I'm going to divide the top by 12, the bottom by 12, and I'm going to get 1 over, just 1 on the top now, because 12 goes into itself once. And on the bottom, I'll have 3, and then that leftover n. That leftover n is still there, so it just gets popped down there. So 1 over 3n. Next one, 21 and 24 has a common factor of 3. So, but I want to show you what's going on here. Let's say I have maybe another way of looking at this. 21y over 24. Now, y squared is y times y. This time, I can cancel ay on top with ay on the bottom. Now, I can't cancel the y in both y's because there are 2 of them. So 21 over 24 is reducible by the factor of 3. So I'm going to divide by 3 on the top and on the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. That would be 7 on top and 8y on the bottom. So that y is down there because there's 2 of them down there to start with. Now you try the next one. All right. If you want a super awesome pro tip, let's look at it this way. Let's look at 20y over 30yy. I got slopified there, so yy, and that's y times y. These zeros right here, these zeros can cancel. If you didn't know that, that's pretty darn awesome. These y's will cancel, 1y on top, 1y on the bottom, and my final answer will be -2 over 3y. -2 over 3y. That's it. This kind of practice, simplifying fractional expressions. Have a good one.